What up, everybody? It's Blessed Mindset, and we back at the Mastermind Academy. Today, we got a special guest. This is my mentor, Joe Eacklebary. This man has gave me so much knowledge and so much game ever since I was a little kid. So everybody give a round of applause for my boy Joe. What's up, baby? How are you?
Too blessed to address. You know what I mean?
100%, man. You know, I knew you for a long time, you know, and you are a person that gave me so much knowledge and so much game to the point where I grown so fast that it's just so amazing, you know. So can you tell me about your story about, you know, how you came up, where you grew up, and how did you start getting on some of the books and stuff and the knowledge that, you know, you came across?
So, like, how I grew up?
100%.
So, I grew up in Akron. I got into skateboarding. I was a skateboarder. And then I started getting into, like, more of the party life. And I used to love skateboarding. I would be at the skate park 12 hours a day. And I was real good at skateboarding. So I got sponsored. So if you ever seen like the show Robbin' Big,
I remember.
Yeah, there's a dude Drama.
Yeah, Drama.
We was on the same skate team. We were sponsored by the same skate team.
Wow.
And yeah, that was cool. Him and his older brother were on the thing. But what was crazy is I always did stuff people didn't expect. So like I was real overweight, but I was real good at skateboarding. So nobody, like whenever I was skateboard, people wouldn't expect me to be doing like all these tricks and stuff, like being overweight, you know?
100%.
But I got into like the party life. Like my buddy, his mom would go away on the weekends with her boyfriend. So we had the house. So we were like 14, 13, 12, like just had the house so we could just party. So everybody would come to that house to party. So that's when I started like just kicking it. I stopped skateboarding. And then, you know, my brothers, they were always into some different stuff. So like pretty soon I was always entrepreneurial. So like I quickly started, you know, on the bad end, you know, the street life type stuff, like started getting into selling stuff, you know, selling weed, selling whatever I could, you know.
So I know that you own a cleaning business, right?
Yeah.
So how did you get into the, you know, the cleaning business lane? Was it inspired by some of like what you was doing with the skateboard stuff, or?
Well, you gotta remember I owned a pizza shop before this.
Oh yeah, talk about the pizza shop. Talk about the pizza shop.
That's what's up.
So like,
I love pizza.
so what really happened was I was selling cars. So I worked at a factory. I was working there for a while. I did a little bit of door-to-door sales, 100% commission. Then I worked in a factory for some years. Then I went to sell cars because I knew like I was real shy and had social anxiety. So like I couldn't even have this conversation right now back then. That's why I did the door-to-door to get stronger in that area. I knew like to be successful, you have to be able to talk to people. So they had
So
me.
you feel like getting into entrepreneurship kind of help you come out the box a little bit more?
Well, this was before entrepreneurship.
Right.
So like what it was is like I've always been entrepreneurial. I feel like I always knew I was gonna own my own thing.
Yeah.
Depending what it was. And in the door-to-door, it was doing gas suppliers, selling energy, pretty much. So like I'll go door-to-door, like, and switch their supplier to our supplier. But it was really a management training program. So like you could go on, like if you did super well, you could go own your own office.
Oh, okay. That's
So, which is crazy because I seen you guys have like different music people on here. My manager was actually this dude, Alpesh Shaw. And he owns TSO Music Group. So he managed this group called the Kick Drums back in the day. And they did a song for 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying soundtrack.
Wow.
But they also did like the official Lollipop remix. There is you ever heard of Chip the Ripper?
Yep.
So they did a lot of beats for Chip the Ripper.
Wow.
So they was doing, producing a lot of music. So at that time, I was always into music. So I used to sell studio time, make beats, and produce music too.
Okay, that's what's up, bro.
So like, so it was like real cool that this is my manager now, you know? Like he's managing this group, like he's in with the music industry. So actually TSO Music Group is who actually signed Moneybagg Yo and did his artist development.
Nah, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so, and you ever heard of Live Mixtapes?
Live mixtape, yeah.
He's like the man behind Live, like him and the dude who started it, like,
Wow.
yeah.
That's
like,
crazy. That's fire though. Like I never knew that.
Yeah, so like that was my boss. I was supposed to move to Columbus with him to open an office. And I ended up getting like, that was the first time I was introduced to like positive mindset. Like at that job, like if you were negative at all, you get fired. He fired this one dude. Like he let this customer go without grabbing a manager to talk to the customer. He comes back in, he's like, where'd that customer go? He's like, get the fuck out. There's customers in the lobby and everything. He's like, but he's like, grab your shit and get the fuck out.
Wow.
Like I'm like, that shit's crazy,
Nah, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? But I ended up reading an article about this kid. I kept reading articles about kids becoming wealthy. So I read this article about this kid who made his parents really wealthy, and he credited it to this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. So I'm like, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'm like, okay. Like at this time, I never even read a book in school. Like I slept in school. Like I barely, if I didn't have an IEP, I probably wouldn't have graduated. Like, you know what I mean? Like I got expelled my last week of school for selling weed. Like had to sneak back in to my like senior breakfast and stuff. They sent me my cap and gown in the mail.
Oh, you didn't even walk the stage.
I didn't get to walk. I was gonna be the first one in my family to walk the stage out of all my brothers and everything, and I didn't get to walk the stage.
Wow.
And so I seen that there's the kid read that book. I'm like, okay, well I gotta read this book. And I'm like, my reading comprehension was super low. So I'm like, I found that I could listen to the audio of it. I found it on YouTube. I listened to this book and it's teaching me, like the difference between, like your rich dad will say, how can I afford it? Your poor dad says, I can't afford it. If you say, I can't afford it, that cuts off your whole like opportunities and everything. It's done deal. I can't afford it. But if you're looking at it like, how can I afford it? That opens up all these opportunities.
Well, talk about the power behind that. Like, why is it that there's power behind the how? How is it like there's just so much power behind the how to do these things when you question it? Like, hold on, like, how do I do this? Instead of being like, whoa, hold on, I can't do it.
It's simple. It's like one gives you options, the other one doesn't give you options. Wow. You know what I'm saying? One is cut. Like it's easier to say I can't do it. You have an excuse. It's like the victim mentality. I can't do it. I'm here. I can't do it. Instead of saying how can I do it? Like, okay, maybe I can try this. Like Michael Jordan, if you ask him why he was the best, he'll tell you because I missed the most shots. You know what I'm saying? Like, when they're creating a light bulb, like who do you know is gonna fail 10,000 times and try again? Like we wouldn't even have lights. You know what I'm saying? If a lot of us do it 10 times and quit. Like how can I do it? How can I do it different? Instead of focusing on how you messed up and dwelling on that, you focusing on the problem more than the solutions. So
that makes sense.
You think people are like mainly taught that more than anything?
Yeah, if you hear it, whatever you hear, you're gonna start repeating, and what you say, becomes flesh. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if you say I can't do it, like, whether you can or you can't, you're right.
So break it down to me, Joe. What did Rich Dad Poor Dad do to you? Did it inspire you? Did it?
Yeah.
Break it down to me.
Yeah. It definitely inspired me.
Inspire.
So I was always entrepreneurial. So when I started hearing these ideas, like, the rich buy assets, the poor buys liabilities. That like changed everything for me. And it talked about in that book that you need to learn financial literacy. You got to learn these other things, leadership, financial literacy. I started seeing the value in the books. So I'm like, I need to listen to more books. So I ended up quitting the job selling cars and doing a job to wash dishes because I could listen to books. So now I got headphones in. I'm on YouTube finding every success book, leadership book, a book that me and you both had in common. The science of being rich, the science of being great, the science of being well.
Wallace D. Wattles, man.
Yeah, Wallace D. Wattles. These different books, I started listening to about a book a day.
What was it about, like the success book? Because most people go into a library or go on, Audible. They're like, whoa, there's so much information. How did you know that it was the success books that you wanted to start reading?
Because that's what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's that simple.
I
wanted success.
I wanted success. At that time, I was more money driven.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm listening to everything, like, everything I can get a hold of about wealth and money. Like, from where did it come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, the creature on Jekyll Island. You ever heard of that?
Nah, I think you told me about that book.
So that's where they like created the Federal Reserve.
Oh yeah, you was telling me about that.
You know what I'm saying? Started controlling the money. Like everything about money, like where it comes from, the tax code. Like how people are paying less. It ain't about what you make; it's about what you keep. Like all these different things, and it just like I'm listening to a book a day. You know what I mean? Like like it's not really at that time. It wasn't structured. It was just like I'm learning everything, and I was loving it. Like it's everything nobody, taught me in school. But from the books, I realized like there's so much opportunities out here. Everything's an opportunity.
100%.
So it's like I'm not gonna spend that much time at something and it take up my time unless I have at least 50% ownership.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. I was like, I'll do it for 50% ownership. Go talk, to whoever, and we made the deal. They're like, all right, done, 50% ownership.
Wow.
So then I step into that. I never had an employee up until then. Never worked in a pizza shop for one. Like I did dishes, sold cars, did door to door, and was a busboy at Outback my first job. So I had no experience at anything.
Wow.
So I came into the pizza shop, but I was already learning leadership. I was learning all these things that I could implement in there. So my plan, originally I was going to do real estate investing was the real plan. So since I learned about leadership and stuff, I figured, okay, well, I have this opportunity. I'm going to grow this and then start putting my managers on with shops and start opening up more pizza shops and then growing people to become owners of pizza shops. And that gives them an incentive to go hard at the pizza shop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I started doing that. My employees love me. I love my employees. Like the store was doing like $400K, which for that location is completely like failing. You're like barely paying your bills. Like it was on the same corner of a McDonald's. So it's like prime real estate. Because McDonald's is in the real estate business, not the burger business.
Yeah.
That's what people don't know.
If people really pay attention, that's what's crazy.
So this was right on an opposite corner from a McDonald's. So it was a perfect spot. But the previous owners weren't, they ran it to the ground. So it's doing 400K. Everything's wrong. Like, had roaches when I took over. The sign, it was a Happy's Pizza. It said Appy's Izza. You know what I'm saying? On the sign, no parking lot lights. It's on the west side of Cleveland by the zoo, and it had no lights in the parking lot. You know, like
Cleveland's buildings, when they wore down in the band, they be like towed all the way down.
right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I know it took a lot to like build it all the way back up.
It was natural. Yeah, it like really it was really like there was a lot going on, and it was always like always doing something and moving, but it was like it was fun. I loved every minute of it, you know. So it's like with a franchise, you got kind of a basis. Like, I don't have to make the recipes. Like, with my current business, I'm building all the background systems, all the computer, everything. But for this, it's like it's kind of those parts are set up. So it's more like you're managing people, making sure food cost is where it needs to be, making sure that the labor hours are where it needs to be. But I was always up front with my people, like, we need to have a 25% labor, 30% food cost. So them as a team, they're trying to clock out and still work to make sure we get the labor. You know what I'm saying? Like, people can't get people to work. My people were trying to clock out work just to get the labor. And I'm like, nah, you can't do that. You know what I mean?
Because you can't work off the clock, right?
Yeah, so I went to all the hospitals, everything, restoring relationships with the community. And we started getting all our catering accounts. Long story short, within that first year of owning it, we went from 400,000 to just under $1 million in 1 year, which is crazy. So I didn't have my car for a month. I told them I would help them out with maintenance. So I know that you worked with me for a little bit. You remember Jackie?
Yeah, I remember Jackie.
Yeah. So I started working directly with Jackie, taking care of their maintenance. So I always I learned from the books, you always want to give more in value than you get paid for. If you want to, you'll always get way more back. Anytime I get to thinking like, oh, that ain't my job, or I don't get paid for that, bro, you need to end that. Like, get that out of your mind, because
You feel like you just need to do it.
bro, you need to go
Regardless of
extra. You'll work your way out of whatever you're doing.
So you feel like, let's say somebody making like less than what they want to.
It don't matter.
It shouldn't matter. You should work just as hard.
Because your work represents you, not your pay, none of that. Your work directly, if you do half-ass work, you're a half-ass dude. It don't matter who you're working with. If that person's going half-ass and you're picking up their slack, that has nothing to do with, like, what they do has nothing to do with you. Your work describes you. So if you're lowering your shit to be like them, like, you're just looking like a dumbass.
You lowering your own standards.
Yeah, you look like a piece of shit because he's a piece of shit. Like, no, you go twice as hard. You do their job, and then pretty soon you own the shit. Like, that's the way it works.
They gonna take notice, like, yeah, this dude works
It's your
hard
attitude.
regardless.
Yeah, you don't think about like, oh, I'm not getting the credit, or I ain't getting nah. You go as hard as you can, and eventually, like, that stuff just disappears, and then all of a sudden you're in the position. Like, that's the way it works. Anytime you get to thinking like, oh, I ain't doing that, like, you become that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll
true.
always be doing that.
Yeah.
You'll always be in a position saying like,
It's
oh,
over
like,
with.
I ain't getting
doing
paid
that.
for that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's why, like, I know that you at first you always wanted the money, but then you switched to the philosophy. You're like, oh, instead of the money motivating me, the philosophy behind
the
it,
value,
the value,
providing more value, bringing
yes.
more, you know what I'm saying, to the world than what you take. You know, there could be people bidding against you, but if you go in and you know, like, nobody, like, my work represented me enough. Like, do those people matter? Like,
nope.
people watch sports and they think about competition, but like in business, like, I don't believe in thinking about competition, because that would bring me down to these people's level of work. Like, I'll be doing the same shit they're doing, just a little bit better. Like, if you think, like, not in competition, like we don't compete. Like, you can't compete with me. Like, I go so extra that there's no way, like, you know, they're thinking, like, oh, we don't get paid for that. I already know, like, that ain't my mindset. Like, they can't compete with me. You know what I'm saying? So, like, whether there's people over there bidding against you or not bidding against you, like, if they don't go with me, like, they're gonna get the same shit they've been getting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's how I think about it. Like, in this situation, sometimes you do know. Sometimes you do a walkthrough, like my last walkthrough, there was like these two big companies and me. And we did a walkthrough of these different schools and stuff. And yeah, like sometimes you do know, but other times you don't. But long story short, you know, I bid for the contract, got it,
Got that.
and then started doing.
But then it's similar to the pizza shop too, because you wasn't experienced within the cleaning as well, right?
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that
You're-
don't matter. Like, experience.
So why do people think like, yo, you got to be experienced before you do this?
They're taught by schools who teach you to be employees.
You're thinking, oh, I can do this regardless.
Yeah. Did you read Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Yeah, that was like when you first gave it to
Yeah.
me like 6 years ago, dude.
Right. So in that book, something that stuck out to me was his poor dad. The reason his poor dad got into education was because the education system in Hawaii at the time, they were failing 80% of the students. Whether you was you could be the smartest kid in the school, 80% is getting failed because they needed you to work in the sugar plantations. You know what I'm saying? Schools are set up to make you become an employee. You know what I'm saying? Because what's the one quote? I forget. It was a song, and he said, you know, if everybody's bosses, who's really working?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
if everybody was a boss, who's gonna clean? You know what I'm saying?
And so you feel like it gotta be workers.
I
It gotta
don't-
be people that just ain't at the boss level for real.
Well, some people just don't got it. Like,
Yep.
like Elon Musk, like one of his quotes that it's not his quote originally, but he says it all the time. He says entrepreneurship is like chewing glass and staring out into the abyss. Like, you know, a lot of people that are gonna do that.
Nope.
Like,
It's a
you
statistical
know what I'm saying?
anomaly of people that's actually going to be able to own a business and to sustain it at
Right.
that point.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the goal, is to do it long term. But most businesses fail within 10 years?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
They
saying?
say like a certain percentage within 5, and then
Right,
a
right,
bigger
right.
percentage in 10.
Right. So you got to have a different type of mentality to actually keep a business,
Right.
you know, and that's why I'm very pro, you know, helping businessmen, even small businesses, grow, because they're very valuable.
Go, you know, like I could serve as a recruiter for the trade companies. You got HVAC, plumbers, they're all short on people. You come into my company, grow in those areas, you're a guaranteed candidate for the HVAC company. Now you can go there and make $100,000 a year
Right.
doing HVAC.
Well, why don't you talk about some of the, you know, methods and things that you do that are different from other companies for people to grow? I know that, like, you provide certain things, like, what is it, like headphones or something like
Yeah.
that, you know what I'm saying?
So,
Like
So-
a sign-on bonus.
no sign-on bonus.
Yeah,
yeah,
you
nah,
gonna have
we
people
don't-
pulling up quick.
Nah.
Yeah, they see that sign-on.
Yeah,
you
money
like,
money
oh.
ain't value. Money's
Yeah,
a tool. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And I could do more harm by giving them a sign-on bonus than good. You know what I'm saying? That you gotta think, like, you got the guy on the corner, you know, and he's asking for $1, right? Do you think if I give him $1, like anything, he's gonna be there tomorrow, begging for $1?
Another dollar.
I'm just gonna be $1 short. If I gave $1 to 20 people that are on the corner, like I could have did much better with that $20 that would have really impacted people's lives, but instead I gave it to people to keep them where they're at.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah.
got to fill your cup so that it overflows. Like I heard this quote, it's harsh, but it's a reality. Like the best thing you can do for poor people is not be poor. You ain't helping nobody by giving your last money to somebody who ain't gonna do shit with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
like,
facts.
Like you gotta become successful and you gotta change. There's a book by John Maxwell called Change Your World. You gotta change yourself so much that it starts to influence other people around you to change. And that's how I got the idea for my company, is because I changed myself so much. I was actually listening to that book when my first employee called me, one of my friends I grew up with, and he seen the way I was changing, and he's seen some quote that I posted, like aspire to inspire before we expire, and that inspired him enough to like call me and like what's going on, like what are you doing, you know what I mean? And I just noticed it was like one of those moments, you know, like I'm listening to this book and it's like you know, change your world and then it'll change your world. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy, you know, you set out, you know, when you think about helping people, you don't realize how much you help yourself. So like as a mentor, I decided, okay, he's got a drinking problem, then I need to quit first. So I quit smoking weed, quit drinking. And so now I'm completely sober, right? And then just to be a better mentor, that ended up, my business is 10x since I quit drinking and smoking. You know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't pay me like $1 million to drink or smoke ever again, because I feel so good. Like I don't want to mess this up. You know what I mean? Like I got so much energy and vitality and drive, passion, purpose, like everything. Like I don't need to drink or smoke anything.
The funny thing is that when I met this dude was fat as hell.
Yeah.
And bro, I swear to God, bro, I ain't seen him in like 3 years, bro. He pulls up to my bro's crib, and I'm like, bro, what's up, bro? My name's Damon, you know? And I'm like, hold on, this is Joe, bro. This is my man, Joe. This man got slim. I'm like, bro, he has to be on a good diet. He got to be working out.
Either that or meth. You know what I'm saying? Like where I'm from, if you lose a bunch of weight quickly, they think you on meth.
Bro, I didn't even know who this man was.
That's when you let me know that you was on that book.
Yes, sir. And I think that's really how we really connected, because I remember we was all in a conversation, and then I think I said a quote from the Wallace D. Wattles book, and you was like, wait a minute, bro, you're on Wallace D. Wattles?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't think I was like on that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I probably had like a belt on, you know, pants sagging. I had my grill in. I had a whole grill in my mouth. And he was like, bro, what? You on this? Like, and then we started talking about books and stuff. He started giving me so many books that I was like, whoa, this is why he changed, because of all this knowledge he was gaining.
It was, the weight loss was from books too.
Right. It was from the David Goggins, right? That was one of the main ones.
That played a part in like the mindset, like to like do it. But no, what I did was I watched this documentary on the vegan diet, right? I'm about to go vegan, right? You know, I watched one documentary. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to stop eating meat and shit, you know? So then I'm like, no, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to everything I can. Like, I want to hear every argument, like on both sides. Like, I want to hear the vegan argument. I want to hear like the low carb, keto, carnivore side, everything. So I spent 3 months, at least 8 hours a day, 3 months, listening to every argument against each other. So that's when I went low carb. I didn't go vegan. I started finding out like most people, like they be having mental health issues and all kinds of shit. They got to take all kinds of supplements just to succeed in that realm anyways.
Right.
And be healthy. So I'm like,
they don't get the protein anyway, right? That's what I heard.
well, I mean, they got a supplement, I think.
Yeah,
You know,
'cause
I
they
feel
don't
like
get-
there
it's
is
harder to-
probably a population, like a small population that can thrive off of it.
Yeah.
But like if you're looking like at the history of humans, like you have to have a lot of energy to go out and scrounge for enough veg, you know what I'm saying, to give you enough protein.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
and
harder to get protein.
then the plants, a lot of the plants will kill you.
Oh,
That's why your sweet receptors are so strong.
Wow.
Because you used to be able to touch something against your tongue. If it was sweet, it wouldn't kill you. Also, like fruit, fruit, the way it processes through your liver with fructose, like it'll create body fat. So like you think about a bear hibernating. What does a bear do? He picks all kinds of berries and stuff, gets fat, and then he goes into ketosis. He goes and hibernates. He's in ketosis, living off of his fat.
That's
Well,
what that means, though. Like
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Wow.
He's living off of his
I
fat.
think about
He's
it, it
turning
makes
his fat into energy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we do the same thing. We'll go look for fruit and stuff, get fattened up long enough so we could go find an animal to go kill. People think that we was cooking. We have fire, so we're cooking. Nah, we'd have fire. We'd go get a big animal, think like an elephant, right? You kill an elephant, use the fire to do preserving. You know, slow smoke with the fire. Now you got that whole thing you can eat for months. They ain't have no refrigerators. They ain't had nothing. Like, how you gonna survive? You think a dude's going out chopping wood to cook, going out hunting for animals every day? Like, bro, you need the energy to do that. Where you gonna get it from? It's from your food. You ain't just gonna have unlimited energy to go out and go do that.
What does a normal day look like for you?
A normal day?
Normal day.
All right, so a typical day, you know, when building your business, that it's hard to say that because, you know, one day everything's going smooth, next day it's crazy, but like a typical day that I, you know, would be me getting up at like 4:30, being in the gym by 5 a.m. I do me a good hour or two workout, hit the gym, get home, shower, get ready, and then I'm doing whatever the day, you know, the day needs, you know, at the company. Every day is a little bit different. You know what I mean? So I try to work in like a good 45-minute to an hour walk to where like I'm brainstorming about internal things in the business. We're trying to work on an app so that instead of people downloading books and listening to books while they work to grow, it's all going to be in the app. So they're going to be able to clock in. They clock into their app. It's going to ask them a question about the book that they listened to yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So
Quiz them.
yeah, so I'm building the app myself. You know, so my walk is me talking about, okay, am I going to use Claude Code? You know, and what are these terms in order for me to tell Claude Code how to build it, I got to know what it's called that I'm building. You know what I'm saying? Like voice synthesis. Like, cuz I wanted to talk to my people. You know, like something we're working on. So our app, it's not only you're gonna listen to the books, right? It's gonna ask you the questions. But say we got my guy that came in, you know, that we was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
He did all this growth, right? So he can become a mentor in our app. Okay, so you come in, you're working for us, right? You get to choose your mentor in your app. You're like, oh, I relate with Joey. I want to choose Joey. So Joey will be the voice asking you all the questions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like in
That's
Rich
dope.
Dad, Poor Dad, like, you know, what's the difference between how can I and, you know, I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes, sir. I worked there for a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
I seen that it was rough. You
Yeah.
know, so this guy, he's a crazy worker, man. You
not.
know, so I seen like we had to do like, you know, cleaning blinds
Yeah.
and ovens and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So break that down, bro.
yeah. So when I first took over the contract, it was just flipping, it was doing the maintenance for apartments. So like, you live in an apartment, you call your maintenance guy. Like most companies have in-house maintenance techs. They outsource their maintenance to my company because we respond quicker and we have better customer service to the tenants. So when I took over, it was just me. I'm doing 104 apartments, all the maintenance and all the flips. So when people move out, I go in, patch, paint, everything, and then detail clean afterwards. So we're doing so on the maintenance side, it's just basic maintenance. So it's like making sure the appliances are working, patching and painting, just repairing basic stuff. And then you got maintenance calls, you know, if there's a little leak, nothing like too major. And then on the cleaning side, we was making the apartments look like nobody's ever lived in them. So like you move into an apartment, most people clean their apartment when they move in. But after we're done, like you move into this apartment, you don't gotta clean it. There's not like a speck of dust or nothing. Like we make it look brand new. So that's from cleaning the blinds. If it's a small apartment, people frying stuff all the time. You got greasy blinds. It took me 12 hours to clean blinds one time. You know, like.
Wow.
But
12 hours.
yeah, like, you know.
Sheesh.
You know, we got better at it. I ain't never worked for a cleaning company before, and ain't nobody at these other companies really cared that much. So they just half-ass it anyways. So when I looked up what I should do about the blinds, they said take them to a professional blind cleaner. There was no like tutorial how to clean these blinds.
Wow.
They was like take them to a professional blind cleaner. Like they're micro metal blinds, like you touch them wrong, they bend. Yeah. Like, so it was just, you know, crazy experience learning that stuff. Cause like I never missed, there's a lot of deadlines.
Oh yeah.
Like somebody's gotta, you remember, right?
Yeah,
like
the
we gotta get this apartment done cause somebody's moving in Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like I was doing, like they ended up building more apartments. So I was doing 177 units, everything by myself.
Yeah, he started off completely by himself, and I'm trying to fathom how this man was doing that, bro. I don't even understand how this man was doing all of these apartments by himself. This man had to been running down the hallways or something, bro.
Yeah, it was.
Bro.
Yeah, I don't like. You know, the way I think about it, like. You know, it never seemed possible, you know what I mean? But I never thought about that. I just thought about what I need to do next. Okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this.
So Joe, you have a great quote that I think about every single day. It is, what are we celebrating for? How did you come up with this quote, and what does it mean to you?
All right. So, what are we celebrating? So I read this book called Atomic Habits, and it talks about like the reward centers in our brain and how like we, we reward ourselves like a lot of times for shit we don't want to be doing. So like we feel sad, we go drink. We go smoke, you know, we lose our job, we go to the bar, you know, try to feel better. But really we're just rewarding ourselves for shit we don't want. You know what I'm saying? So like that creates neural connections in our brain. So I read that book. I was with my mentee. We was at the strip club. You know what I'm saying? So like, and I just had an epiphany while I'm sitting there. I'm like, what are we celebrating? You know, I just looked at him. I'm like, we're broke at a strip club. Like, not like super broke. Like, I had enough money, you know what I'm saying, to not be like dying if I like went to the strip club, you know. But it was like, what are we celebrating? Being broke? And I realized like, you're gonna stay broke if you keep celebrating it. You know, if you keep partying and kicking it when you broke, like you're always gonna be broke. You know what I'm saying? Use those reward centers for your advantage to become successful. Like when you work, 80 hours that week, celebrate that you're working 80 hours. Or, you make a move, like use that strategically. you know, and only use it when to celebrate an accomplishment, and then you'll keep having accomplishments. But yeah.
Man, that's awesome. What advice would you give somebody that's trying to start their own business?
Well, I would say get into audiobooks. Realize that always worry about providing the most value. So there's a couple things, and make sure like you're doing it to add to the world and not just become wealthy. Like if your plan is to just become wealthy, like nobody's gonna stand behind you. Like nobody wants to make you wealthy. Like I'm sorry, like we feel like the world revolves around us, but like it doesn't. Like we need more people to add to the world, you know, and add more to the world than they're taking from the world. And yeah, just focus on adding value to the marketplace. And another quote I love is, you know, don't do anything half-ass. If you think you're gonna go somewhere and do something half-ass and feel whole, it ain't gonna work. You can't do something half-ass and go home and feel whole. So that's
100%. Well, thank you for hopping on the podcast, brother. It was a great convo, bro.
my pleasure.
Yes, sir. We out.